and welcome. Martina here with an amazing new addition to the Crafty Meraki product line, which is Blooming Halo. It's a big and beautiful wreath that has a die, which is the one I'm showing you now, and a matching stencil set. I think this is a very easy, fast, and fun way to create beautiful cards. And the stencil set has 5 parts, so you get the chance of, creating some beautifully layered and detailed elements when you're stenciling. I have been counting the roses, I think it's roses on the wreath, and found out it's about 6 clusters on the stencil. So I thought I could be creating a rainbowish wreath, and to do so I just taped a piece of 6x6 cardstock to my working surface and then taped my stencils onto the cardstock and then started to stencil in the first layer of the stencil, which is the base of the flowers. I am working with distress oxides because I have the biggest variety of colors when I'm just using the inks I have on hand with distress oxides, and that's why I'm creating that card with oxide inks. You could use whatever inks you have on hand. I am now just trying to have a lighter color. I have a yellow, an orange, a pinkish color, a purple, and a darker and a lighter blue. And I'm trying to grab some lighter colors so I will be able to add some depth to the roses with the second layer, because the second layer contains the details of the flowers. And this is already the 6th flower. I think this went pretty fast actually. To keep things very easy and simple, I'm just lifting the washi tape pieces that were holding my stencil in place, and I'm now just placing the second layer of the stencils again on top of my piece of paper, and I can just press the pieces of washi tape back to the stencil and everything stays in place again. I'm now applying the second layer of color to my roses, and I'm staying within the same colors. I have again a yellow, an orange, a pink, a purple, and 2 blue tones, but I now am adding the darker colors, which will add the depth and texture to the roses. I think you will see that in a second when I finally lift the second layer of the stencil. Yeah, exactly, here we are. I think on the bright blue color I could have been using a slightly darker tone because you can't see that much, but otherwise I'm very happy with my results. I'm now going to the leaves, and I will fast forward that process because this is just again me going in with a brighter ink and a darker ink, the brighter for the base layer, the darker for the detail layer. We see you in a second with the results. And here we are ready to lift off the last stencil part and taking away all the washi tapes and just for a second admiring the very beautiful wreath. I am then aligning the die to the stenciled image. This is very easy because it's one big piece. And I'm then making sure that the stencil stays in place. To do so, I'm using 2 small pieces of washi tape and everything, die cuts just perfectly. I have then been grabbing an A2 size top fold card, and as usual, I have the card and then a piece of cardstock that I use as card base. And because I think this already looks very nice, but I always like some, more texture or detail in the background, I have been thinking that it would be a nice addition to add something stenciled to the background. And that's what I'm doing now. I am taking a Crafty Meraki stencil and again placing it down with a piece of washi tape just to keep it easy and, yeah, fast and simple. That's the way I like to craft. As soon as everything is ready, I can take my palette knife and a texture paste. I've been using a white texture paste and I left it white. I could also color it in or apply some blended ink as soon as it's dried. I just like that white textured, yeah, backgrounds behind these beautiful floral images. I don't know why, but I like it. I am using the palette knife and I'm moving as I would, yeah, scrape a normal amount of butter to a piece of bread. You don't want to have too much, but you also don't want to have too little. And then you have a very nice background. I'm using my fingers to drag off or take off all the excess texture paste on the edges of the paper. This gives you a nicer and cleaner result. I've then been gluing the card base or the background piece to my top fold card base, and I'm now gluing my wreath to the card. I'm using some double-sided adhesive foam tapes to do so, and I think it looks very nice when I have that wreath on an angle on the card, and that's why I just bravely glued it down and super fast flipped it over and cut all the excess pieces of the wreath off. And I have to say, I really like these overlapping creations. And now, coming to my most favorite part when it comes to Crafty Meraki cards, the dewdrops or the bling and the, yeah, shoosh. I have such a beautiful range of rainbowish colors with the dewdrops that I thought it would be fun to glue these colored drops to the colored dots on the card. And that's what I'm doing now, adding small droplets with my Burley Art glue. This helps you to get the very small, precise dots of glue where you actually need it. And then just taking my pickup tool and placing all the droplets in place. I will link all the colors I used in the description box, but it's just too much to just, well, name them all. A quickly die cut piece of EAP gives me an amazing sentiment and helps me to finalize this card very quickly. I really like it. I hope you like it as much as I do, and I wish you a wonderful day. See you next time. Bye.